What's up, guys? It is Joe. I am back. Even though it doesn't quite sound like me, I am currently in the middle of recovering from a lost voice, so that's why I sound like I eat cardboard for a living. Quick note, I was at a wedding this weekend. That's why I was gone. Forgot to mention that. That's important to the story. That's all. But we're back, and we're going to talk about the Cats for better or worse. And to make things a little bit more interesting, we had one of the worst performances we've had in a long time that K-State fans have had to witness this weekend, and I will give a quick shout out to the married couple. They provided a lot of alcohol this weekend, so it was great that I did not have to witness Friday's event completely sober. So not to say that drink alcohol because that'll solve your problems, but on Friday night's case, it definitely did not hurt the situation one bit. However, we had some bad issues on Friday night. We took on the Oklahoma State Cowboys, and it was a tough outing. I mean, there's a lot of different things I could say, but the main thing I want to get across, and I'll talk about multiple things in this video, the main thing I want to get across here. One, I apologize for not getting this video out sooner. Voice was non-existent. Coming back on Sunday just wasn't going to get done. I was not able to really get that done on Saturday, Sunday, or even Monday for that matter. Today, obviously being Tuesday morning, things did not work out on my end, so I apologize, and I owe you guys one on that front. But I am back, and we're going to talk a lot about Kansas State in this video, what went wrong, what has to change going forward, and what I like to see against Texas Tech this weekend. For better or worse, the world goes on. Guys, it's no secret, Kansas State disappointed everybody and their brother. I sit here to tell you this. I'm heartbroken. I'm disappointed. I am crushed. I am flabbergasted. I am whatever adjective you want to say about disappointed, confused, and shocked. I am all of that. One thing I will not do, for better or worse, and this is something that you can't take out of me. I have stupid amounts of faith in Kansas State. For better or worse, I am, not to say I'm some eternal optimist that will always believe in everything, but I know that things don't look great right now. I have cautiously thrown all of my, regret, anguish, any frustration I have with this team, and I've thrown it out. Now, that being said, it doesn't exempt the team from criticism. It doesn't make anybody on the roster exempt from criticism, and there's a lot of that to go around. There's a lot of blame to go around, so to speak. But as I sit here right now, I took note of a couple of different things in the community of what people want to talk about, what they don't want to talk about, and I know there's one topic on everybody's mind. I will get this out of the way before moving on because it is crucial that I talk about this, and if I don't know, you shouldn't watch me if I don't at least mention a slight quarterback thing brewing in Manhattan. I don't want to say controversy. I don't want to say anything along those lines because realistically, at this point in the season, what's going to happen is going to happen. Whichever quarterback they trot out there, this team right now does not look like a good football team. Chris Klieman said it himself, this is not a good football team. Am I willing to say that's Will Howard's fault 100%? Hell no. Am I willing to say that if Avery Johnson were out there, it'd be night and day different? No. What I am willing to say is this. We're going to see a lot of change in the next couple of weeks from multiple positions. Things will need to change in its own right. I know there's a vast majority of you guys that are calling for, hey, it's time for Avery Johnson. I want to get this out of the way now to kind of, not even just set up a teaser, but just to get you where you're at, where I'm at going forward. I'm going to have a video discussing the full comparison between Avery Johnson and Will Howard, joined by some of my friends in the K-State media on Thursday. So you'll have that to look forward to get my full thoughts on the situation. But I do want to say this. I hear what you're all saying. I am a big Will Howard guy. I've been a big Will Howard guy all year. I was a big Adrian Martinez guy last year. I don't know whether that be I don't like the idea of change or, I'm XYZ this, I feel this way. Where I'm at right now, if it were as simple as plugging and playing Avery Johnson in for Will Howard and this team would go back to winning a Big 12 title, that would be incredible. But I hate to say it, guys, that's not the only issue. And I know what you're thinking. Don't click off this video because you're pissed off yet. Because I know that's not all of you, but that is some of you. I want you guys all to know that I hear what you're saying. And I'm acknowledging the fact that your frustration, I understand it. I'm not saying that Will Howard is completely exempt and he's playing great football. He's struggling. I mean, he has shown signs of that, sophomore year Will, freshman year Will showing up. You can't turn the football over 3-4 times. I'm a little rusty because it's been a bit, so I'm not getting words out exactly how I wanted to say them. What I'm trying to say is this. Benching Will doesn't solve Kansas State's issue. That's not the only solution. We don't immediately flip a switch and go to a Big 12 title game. Back to the video. And I've written down a list of things here I do want to talk about, and I don't want to steal all of my thunder for Thursday's videos. That's the only reason I'm exercising a bit of caution with what I'm saying. I think what the issue is here, it's coaching, It's quarterback play, running back play, tight ends, receivers, defense. It is everything across the board. Special team. Don't even get me started on special teams. This team is not a good football team right now. But, no matter what will happen, no matter what happens, they can't take the fact that I will love Kansas State away from me. They can't take that. And I'll tell you guys why. I know that preaching optimism isn't really what you guys want to hear right now, but I will give you this. Guys, apologies for breaking up the post-game comments video here, but I do have something to tell you real quick before we get back into things. I know Kansas State isn't looking that great as of right now. However, that doesn't have to be you. You can look incredible by supporting @Astra Sports apparel on Instagram as well as in the merch shop. They've got some kick-ass K-State shirt designs as well as the one I'm wearing here. I know Will Howard may not be your favorite guy at the moment, but you cannot deny the design. It's beautiful. Check it out. It is based off of a Clint Eastwood movie, Fistful of Dollars. I'm going to get it right this time, even though I mismovied it last time. Check out the design. It's pretty sweet. It's also comfort colors, and it feels great. In case you haven't had comfort colors, it's the same shirts that they do for sorority or fraternity designs, usually in most houses, whether that be K-State or anywhere at this point. They're awesome. I love them. And there's a ton of different designs on the shop. You can check out the Bill Snyder one, the Tex Winter one. There's a couple of different things you can pick of. And I do want to say this before I get out of here, before I get back to the video. The best part about it supports a current Kansas State student. Buddy of mine on campus makes the shirts, and they are to die for. I hope you enjoy them. There is also a 10% off link in the description, along with the link to the merch shop. I hope you guys pick something up cool. If you do, go ahead and let me know on Twitter. I would love to see that. Outside of that, guys, I will let you get back to the video right now. I was at a wedding this weekend. I know I mentioned that earlier. All of my, sadness from Friday, not all of it. Obviously, I talked to a couple of buddies there. Shout out to Joel Anderson, a couple of other friends we met at the wedding. It was my first time seeing them face-to-face. Shout out to my boys. There was a lot of cool people there that were K-State supporters. The wedding couple both graduated from K-State, so that's, kind of the vibe that you got. People are drinking, people are hanging out, having a good time. And then out of nowhere, the KU fight song comes on. And from where I stood, because I know I was definitely, affiliated with this group, there were boos raining down, just tossing up L's in the crowd. Everybody yelling about it. Not necessarily yelling and trying to fight the DJ or anything crazy like that, but the general vibe was not there. And the pop that the room had, the second that changed to the Wabash, and everybody, all the K-State grads, all the K-State students get in line, and they start Wabashing and cheering and singing the K-State fight song and different things that come on, and you hear the KSU, KSU. For better or worse, that solidarity that I felt with the rest of the K-State fans, I felt a little bit better about Friday. Not because we're a better football team or XYZ thing's going to happen, but I think that I lost myself a little bit in the loss on Friday, and I don't think I appreciated, this is a one-game thing. I know Will Howard has struggled for multiple games this season. I know that the defense has given up big plays for multiple games this season. I know that a chunk of things have happened, but this isn't maybe the message you want to hear right now, but I'll tell you this. Where Oklahoma State was at this weekend heading into this game was an absolute dumpster fire train wreck. Oklahoma State goes from an absolute dog water team that will not get another win this season, very likely, to beating the defending Big 12 champions in a span of 2 weeks. All I'm saying is that things change fast. Let me say this. They played better than us. They deserved to win that game, but when I'm seeing a lot of the, hey, this needs to change, guys, there is 9 or 10 different reasons why this football team is not looking good right now. There's multiple things that can change. I should have mentioned this a little bit earlier, but this was the first post-game comments that I legitimately thought about what to say. All these other videos, usually I know, all right, let's say the Missouri game. I was upset, didn't feel like, for whatever reason, it felt like all the momentum had been stripped from my body. It felt like, all right, well, we're done. Not necessarily done because I'm still optimistic in that sense, but it felt like this was a game you shouldn't have lost. There's turnovers, the defense didn't play good, XYZ happened, this happened. Yada, yada, whatever you want to say. I didn't really think about it. I knew the points of what I didn't want to say, what I did want to say. I have so many things that I could address in this video, whether that be, hey, secondary, you got injuries in the secondary. They haven't looked good up to this point. But the biggest thing I noticed in this game, it's not a one-man team. It's not an offense thing, a defense thing. It's not a special teams thing. The amount of effort and heart and passion that we didn't show in this game was horrendous. There was one player that I saw competing the entire game. The one dude that went out there with the power cat on his chest, side of the helmet, whatever you want to say, his number on his back, his last name competed, that was Kobe Savage. And I know I'm a little biased. We talked about him on the channel. We talked to him on the channel recently. And he's one of my boys. But the lack of effort, of heart, of hustle, those should never be things associated with Kansas State University. That is us. That is Kansas State. You take 2- and 3-star guys from the middle of Western Kansas or, Iowa or Nebraska or whatever. You take guys from anywhere in the Midwest and you bring them in and you say, these dudes are going to out-compete. They're going to outwork and they're going to out-prepare you every single day of the football season. I didn't see that. There was one guy playing for his teammates out there, and it felt like Kobe Savage was that guy. This isn't to say we need to bury a person. We need to bury a coach. We need to do this or that. Where I'm at right now, I'm just saying the thing that needs to change right now is how much these dudes are bought in. Because it felt like the body language is down. It felt like the heart's down. It felt like this is down. We're defeated before hitting the field. That's what I saw this week. And if that's right, for better or worse, I apologize. I'm not saying that we're a terrible football team or we're some, poverty program, whatever the case is. That's not us, man. This is a team with a rich, historic culture, rich program. Guys that go out there and play at Bill Snyder Family Stadium. Guys that go out there to play for their teammates. To show that love, that passion that K-State fans have. That's what this team's about. I don't want to see things like Phillip Brooks, a 6-year senior, albeit, a guy who's been a veteran leader for Kansas State and a guy that's been there for 6 years. You know what the passion, the effort, you know what the hustle is on every phase of the ball. I don't want to see a guy like that give up on plays, not sealing a block because, hey, thought it was a run. Will Howard sneaks it outside instead of handing off to Giddens, whatever the case was, or, just giving up on a block. You don't want to see those type of plays. People have talked about it. You don't want to see us fair catching punts, kicks. You don't want to see us just waving the white flag, so to speak. And you saw that a lot from multiple guys. What I need to see against Texas Tech, it's not, skill here. It's not this change. Schematically, got to do this. Every single person on the field has to actually do their part and compete and show up. Not the cliche, hey, do your 111th, we'll be fine. Hey, you got to do this and you'll be fine. Everyone on the field has to want to win, has to want to compete. Because this team feels like a team that loosely drank the Kool-Aid a little bit in the offseason. Hey, they heard, all right, hey, we're second in the Big 12. We can take down Texas. We can take Oklahoma. We're fast. We're physical. We're strong. I don't think they ever really understood the assignment, so to speak, in terms of physicality or what the other teams would be bringing into them. There's the Hunter versus Hunter argument, Hunter versus hunted argument. I think that's lame. Yes, everybody's going to bring their best game, but you need to be prepared for Big 12 football. You need to be prepared for the challenge at hand. Whether that falls on the coaching staff for not, treating each game like it's a game 7. Brent Venables had a great quote talking about a reporter asked how, you obviously can't practice that game-winning drive. You can't make the guys feel the magnitude of the moment. And Venables cuts the guy and says, yes, you can. Absolutely. If the coaches coach like this is this is the biggest play of their life, the players are going to feel that. If you don't feel that authenticity, that's not going to happen. The players will not realize it in that moment. They won't feel that. I know I've gotten a little bit of flack in the past for not being hard enough on the quarterback room or not being hard enough on the coaching staff or Colin Klein or whatever. I don't think it's a thing where it's like, this guy sucks, this guy's bad, get him out of there. This team has to play together. They have to play. Absolutely. Every single person has to buy in. I know that's a cliche, but you know what I'm talking about when we say we haven't seen that. But the fact that K-State rolled in thinking they were the best team and knew they were the best team, and then you get smacked in the mouth. How do you respond when you get smacked in the mouth? That's what Kansas State football is about. Because we're not going to be the team we're not going to be Texas. We're not going to be Oklahoma. We're not going to be these teams that have a wealth of 4 and 5 stars at every single position that, hey, this guy sucks. Bring in our 5-star quarterback on the bench. Bring in our 5-star receiver, our 5-star tight end. We don't have that. We have guys that go out there and compete because they're in Manhattan, Kansas, because they have a chip on their shoulder. We lost a lot of the chips on the shoulders. That's what I want to say. I talked about it in the preseason. The guy I think had the biggest chip on his shoulder was something to prove is Kobe Savage. Kansas State lost the underdog mentality. There's a couple of guys that showed it, but that has to be everybody. That is what makes you Kansas State. That's what makes you a Wildcat fan. The underdog mentality. Hey, we can go out there and prove what we're worth. But the second you have that weight lifted off, we're champs. We got this. We did this. What do you turn to from that point on? What do you turn to? That's what this team's trying to figure out. And I know that might be lame. I know all that's kind of lame to say and not give you specific, okay, Will Howard's the reason, or okay, Avery Johnson would fix this, or okay, fire Chris Klieman, fire Colin Klein. None of that, man. This team, every single player in this team could play better. That's the thing I'm looking at. For those of you that are here still kind of saying, why hasn't Joe talked about the quarterback situation more in depth? If you missed it earlier, if you didn't hear me earlier say it, Thursday, I'm going to have a video specifically dedicated to that. Talked to a couple of friends in the media. I've talked to some people that I think will have some good opinions for you guys, as well as I'm going to release a poll on Twitter, and we'll talk about a couple of different things here in the next week. Look for that video Thursday. The one thing I will say is this. If you're an offense that's struggling to keep a hold of the ball, even if you want to point fingers at Will Howard and say, this is 100% Will Howard, which, granted, the receivers have looked like dog water at this point. This is not just a Will Howard thing, and I don't think that changes with Avery in that sense. If your receivers aren't getting open, that's not going to change. However, Colin Klein needs to realize the inconsistency he's seeing in the quarterback room and not pull Will Howard, but adjust the game plan. My suggestion to remedy a lot of these things, and I'm not a coach, I'm not going to be the guy that says, Chris Klieman, this is what you're doing wrong, but I'll give you my 2 cents. Once again, I'm just a guy in a room talking into a microphone. So, coaching staff, if you're hearing this, the hell with me, I don't matter, and I apologize, but this is a suggestion. This is for anybody out there. Why doesn't Kansas State run the ball 35 times in the jumbo package or run a Titan package? You've got 2 solid blockers in Garrett Oakley, obviously getting back with health injuries, and Ben Sennett. And then toss out a receiver like Jaden Jackson who's been successful out there. At this point, every receiver on the roster, with the exception of Jackson, has been virtually unproven. Brooks has had some good plays, but there's been moments where, R.J. Garcia's done stuff. Keegan Johnson, I don't even know what to think about right now. Why don't we go to that point where it's, hey, DJ Giddens, Trayshawn Ward have been the best players on offense this season. I don't think anybody's going to dispute that. Maybe, you can say Ben Sennett, that's fine. But let's think about this. Instead of just going, hey, Will Howard, drop you back on an RPO. If teams load the box against us, that's fine. We'll take the shots when we can. But this team is forcing so much stuff down the field right now. That's not who we need to be. That's not the team we have on paper. You've got 2 solid running backs in the backfield, a decent enough offensive line that obviously has underwhelmed at this point in the season, a solid offensive line with a core group of guys that I really like. You think about it, I think Taylor Portier does a great job. I think Cooper Beebe's the best lineman in football. But you don't see those guys really making a ton of time for Will Howard. Obviously, you can make the argument, hey, toss a mobile quarterback in there. That'll change maybe with Avery Johnson. But the thing that I'm seeing, why don't we have that? Go 5 offensive linemen. Heck, even if you want to roll 6, toss in 1 as an eligible receiver and just have them block. Toss Sennett, Oakley, and then 1 receiver on an island and run the jumbo package with 2 tight ends and an extra lineman. Give the ball to DJ Giddens. Let him get 4 or 5 yards, and instead of pulling the panic button when they drop guys into the box, say, hey, our 7 or 8 guys up front, we're better than your defensive line. That's how it's going to work. Give Giddens, give Trayshawn Ward, split them so they're not just burning one guy up. Give one guy, say, 17 carries DJ Giddens. Give Trayshawn Ward 13. Give him 10 carries out of the backfield. Something like that. Get him involved in the screen game. We don't have to be this air raid offense, 5-wide type team when we don't have receivers getting open, a quarterback holding onto the ball. We don't have the rosters set up to play from behind. Let's go out there and out-physical people and out-compete people, out-hustle people. That's what we can do with this roster. I could be proven wrong in the future, and this is not to say abandon hope or change your mind. Honestly, I'm saying please don't abandon hope. Believe in this squad, because I think there's still an element yes, I know it doesn't look great to get back to Arlington. If you went out and hold on, don't do it yet. If you went out, Oklahoma wins out, you go to the Big 12 title game. However, and I'll say this half serious, the only way we do it, those of you with facial hair, shave everything but your mustache. Once we have mustaches, we go to the Big 12 title game. That's the answer. So Thursday, you'll see me, mustache only. That's the serious answer. Join me in that if you can, guys. I'd appreciate it, because that's the way we're getting to Arlington. Everybody has to go mustache mode. If you're not a mustache guy, you can't roll facial hair, no big deal. Go clean shaven. It'll be great. We'll be fine. I promise you that. But in all seriousness, guys, there's things that can improve. There's different things we'll talk about. I do want to mention the quarterback stuff again in Thursday's video. We'll touch base on that. But there is still some good things that could happen going forward. Please do not pull the plug on your fandom because of an overreaction. I'm not sitting here saying we're the same team we were last year. We are different and we need to adapt. That's what needs to change. I'm looking forward to that at Texas Tech. you will see this team change. Hopefully I'm right in this sense. If I'm incorrect, if I'm wrong, we'll touch base on it now. I'm not saying, full permission, hey, go off on me in the comment section, but I know that there's going to be a chunk of people that disagree with what I'm saying and want to say, Joe, to hell with you, to hell with this team. I'm out till next year. We'll talk in basketball season. That's fine. I appreciate your support at this time, but just know there's a cult following. There's guys that are going to be here, even when things are bad. Don't let yourself be one of the guys that walks away.